In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the radiator fan for the 450 RX. You can find me on Google searching Mr. Hamm GutsnGlory. First, you've got two 10mm bolts and a collar. Don't lose the collar that goes on both sides. Pull it out and then lift this seat up and slide it out. So you'll slide that out. 8mm bolts, take off this side cover. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. That's going to come off. Take off the side panel here. All right. And just lift up off the side here. Just pull straight up. Set that to the side. They said you didn't have to disconnect the battery, but I went ahead and did it anyway. All right, so then you're going to be connecting to this piece here. All right, I just slid in a screwdriver between the metal piece and this plastic piece right here and pulled towards me, and it come right out. Okay. Then I did the same thing here where my thumb is. I got my flathead screwdriver and pried it out, you know, just kind of not hard, just got in between there and lifted up the prong. So then I was able to pull this right off. Okay, and that's what's going to be connecting the wiring harness. Will be connected to this. Okay. Next thing I did, the instructions said to get a thin piece of cardboard, from a cereal box, and I lined up over here on the side here evenly. Okay, and I used a marker and marked 2 spots to drill 2 holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the point of this, line that up in the center the best I can, and I'm just going to kind of indent it with my and hit it with a hammer. Not too hard, but just get a a nice indentation there. You should be able to see, not quite centered there, but I think I've got a little bit of leeway. So we'll try to do that same thing on the bottom one here. All right, so that looks about the same. All right, now it said to start with 11/64, and if you don't have that, then you can do a 5/32. This is a little bit smaller, which I think I'm going to work with that. Just take it easy. Now I'm ready to mount the fan. It comes with self-tapping 20 hex in screws. So I just got a T20 torque wrench to start the threads. Before I put the fan on, I want to have some threads going to make it a little easier. And you see I only went in a few threads. Now it says to route this up through here. Okay, maybe come down this way. All right. And push that through, and it clicked in pretty good. The fuse that I might need to get to is right here, and why it wants me to come up back there like that, I don't know. I might see what would happen if I just do something like this. All right, where it's not up against the motor. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws in. I'm just going to go a couple of threads like I did before. I like the 5/32 drill bit because when I was screwing in the screws, you know, they felt good and snug. So the 1164 might have been a little bit too big. Tighten this up with my drill. All right, now that's looking pretty good. All right, I'll come back and hand tighten that. All right, this is the sensor. I am going to put it in about right here. We'll go ahead and open this. And what I'm gonna do is back this out and put this grease right there. So that's supposed to take care of any air that may be interfering with the readout of this. Go ahead and push that in. Now, so I just got a piece of wood and just pushed it on in the rest of the way. And here is going to get attached. This here, this is the connector to the fan, and then the harness is going to go to here to the bike. You saw me connect to the bike. Now, that way I can get to this fuse, and it's not near the motor. Okay, now that is it for now until I zip tie that up. The ECU that Tokyo Mods is reprogramming for me. So this one here is just right behind the tank here. So I just took off the seat, pried this rubber piece back off of the ECU, and then grabbed the ECU and pulled it away from this rubber piece. So I'll go back the same way. The air filter needs to be maintained. It's dry. My last ride, when I took this seat off, it was wet feeling, and it's not very oily right now. This needs to be re-oiled, and the filter needs to be maintained. The oil that I'm going to use to replenish that filter with is foam filter treatment. Soak this filter in this treatment and then wring it out, put it back on. This has to be done. All right, definitely want a fan for your motor. I've ordered a replacement radiator cap. This is a 1.1 bar, all right, which is good for 16 psi. I'm replacing this with a radiator cap that is good for, it's a 1.6 bar, and it's good for 20 psi. Everything I'm showing you right here, taking care of this air filter, reprogramming the ECU, replacing that cap, putting a fan on here, all of these items will help keep the motor running cool and less likely to overheat. This ECU, how's that keeping it cool? Well, it's keeping it cool, the motor cool, because it's going to deliver more fuel to the motor. Okay, if you think about it, that's going to help keep it cool. So that's one of the good things that's happening with reprogramming the ECU. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You can find me on Google, searching Mr. Hamm GutsnGlory. If you or someone you know needs help in geometry, go to Google and search Mr. Hamm Geometry for my instructional videos in geometry. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Mr. Hamm GutsnGlory. If you like my video, hit the like button. use the comments section below and let me know if I'm on the right track or not. Thanks for watching.